A serious video for once, but I will be silly next week, I promise. I thought this might be an informative thing to share. I'm not saying they're bad or I'm bad, or it's just that this is a thing that happened that was frustrating. So this is how I feel I lost a big chance with a publisher that I really liked. I feel like it's important to the story to say that I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I think it's CPTSD, but that's another story, and I feel like it's relevant. I might not always know when I'm being sensitive. I feel sufficiently removed from it all now, though, to look back. So she, the publisher, approached me and asked me to write a book with a particular storyline, and it's one that she'd tried to write herself and had found that she was unable to, so she wanted me to try and do it, and then it would end up being published through them at the end. I wasn't that interested in the storyline really, but I felt like maybe I could do it, and I wanted to try. It was a publisher that I really liked. We'd spoken online a fair bit, so I said yes. I think the first chapter was okay. After that, I noticed that her notes had a very specific tone. Now, I get feedback all the time, and I don't feel very personal about it, but I started to feel like she was getting annoyed with me. It started to feel like I wasn't doing anything right. After that, I think it was a combination of my writing not working because I didn't feel anything for the story. You know, it didn't come from me, and her increasing annoyance at how the story was going, you know, what I was doing with it. There were also some barriers due to her being American and me being British, so I think that there was some, you know, a couple of bits of confusion over what things meant. Also, I have endometriosis. I gave one of my characters endometriosis, but she said she felt like it wasn't working and it was very distracting, which like kind of hurt, I'm not going to lie, but you know, if that's how it was, that's how it was. And then the whole thing just became one big stress loop. What confirmed it was she'd said, should we have a chat about the book? And I literally thought it would be a chat, so I was expecting, you know, kind of an informal chat. You know, we got on Zoom, and it felt like she was it felt unfriendly, but again, like I said, I have PTSD, so I don't know when I'm being sensitive and reading into things. I basically ended up saying, this story's not working, but perhaps I could get the coaching and the notes and the help and that with my own story. And I saw the interest just die in her face. And she said, well, that would be submitting the usual way, you know, so I would just have to write the whole thing, do the whole thing myself, and submit to the publisher the usual way instead of getting the coaching. So it felt like I'd had a dream in my hand, but it popped like a bubble. Because then, of course, the book that I submitted was not accepted. You know, that it wasn't for them. That's fine. And for quite a while afterwards, I wanted to still support them online. They've got great authors, so you know, it's a shame. But eventually, I had to say to myself, you know, it hurts you to see these authors online talking about, oh, I've got this out with them. I've got. So I kind of had to not. I kind of had to unfollow pretty much all of them and not look at any of their stuff, because my brain is more important to me than, you know, some good books, which, unfortunate as it is, you know, I have to think of my brain first. But in the end, I think it was for the best, because I can't release a story that I don't really care about, and if my writing wasn't for them, it wasn't for them, you know. So anyway, that is what happened. I will be silly again next week, as I said. Right.